You want hand signals from?
Sure.
Okay.
So, by the title of this, we're obviously going to be talking about space and how weird it actually is. Now, more specifically, we're going to be talking about the extraterrestrials and UFOs, Men in Black, and we're going to talk about our own perspective on space in general. So for our first point, we're going to move on to the skeptics who are saying extraterrestrials cannot exist, will not exist, have not existed before. Now, the skeptics, this whole information I got was basically a summary of this paper written by Ron Westrun that's called The Social Intelligence About Anomalies and Cases of UFOs. So basically what it said was that people a lot of times want to believe in aliens so much that they will see UFOs and extraterrestrials out in reality. But his argument is that that's not true, obviously, that the brain is just making this up. And that very well could be, in a lot of cases probably is. But there's a high likelihood that some cases do in fact actually happen. And one of my big points is that a lot of these people that are debunking these, that he had cited in his paper, were scientists, which is a good thing. They should be well respected and trusted in the community. They are scientists, they do their research, they go hard. But I'd like to point out that they are human too. They do make mistakes, they can goof up from time to time, and they also can even be corrupt or be told to change their numbers into ways that would push an agenda. So they should be trusted, could be trusted, but you gotta be skeptical about everything. So that's gonna go into our next point about what a UFO actually is, because a lot of people actually don't know what a UFO is. Now, this is a little video of UFOs, a supposed sighting, and that's, they're just lights in the sky, like, okay. But a UFO is a noun, or it's cited on dictionary.com, that is a noun, that is just a moving object in the sky, but most people just assume that if they see something out there like that, it has to be a UFO or an alien. But that's obviously not true. It could just be anything flying in the sky. If you see a bird, don't know quite if it's a bird, UFO. So with this, it's good to know that not everything's a UFO, obviously, but there's got to be some cases that they are. It's just not statistically probable, if we do believe in aliens, that not everything is just not a UFO. So that goes into our next little point of an abduction story that actually was reviewed by many scientists and many believe that it to be real. And this one came from, I actually don't have this one cited, but this story is named after, or the names of the people that are in it are Barney and Betty Hill, and they were driving through the White Mountains of New Hampshire on the way back home from a vacation, and out of nowhere a bright white light started pacing with their car. And so they thought this was weird, they tried to drive away from it, kept pacing with the car, and then before they knew it, they just woke back up in their car. They didn't know what happened, they didn't really think too much of it, they just went back home. But when they got back home, they realized they had lost 2 hours that they just don't know where it went. So they actually go to a hypnotist and have a hypnotic regression session with him. And this is supposed to put you in a hypnotic state and make you relive parts of memories that maybe you can't remember, and basically unlocks them. And so what they found out, they didn't really think it was an alien abduction, they just wanted to know what happened. But what actually came through in the session was gruesome medical experiments that were done on them in a UFO. And a lot of them, or what happened was the sessions were done separately between Betty and Barney, and they both described the exact same thing. And another point that Betty made, but not Barney, that she was spoken to by one of the aliens through telepathy. So that was kind of weird. And this was, I actually did have it cited. It was from the Supernatural Kidnapped Narratives, returned in a technological guise by Thomas Bullard. Now, like once that happened and the media saw like that whole story, they were actually visited by the Men in Black, which is a very secretive group that supposedly is a branch of the U.S. Air Force, and they are supposed to be like the recovery group, where they kind of like contain everything, and so they were actually visited by the Men in Black, and most of the time they come in groups of 2 or 3, and they're there to really collect information and like keep it contained, but they're also there to intimidate and fear, or cause fear to them, because they're trying to not let any information get out. So they'll come to you and tell you, don't say anything to anyone about this, otherwise something will happen to you. Now, this little point right here, Dr. Hopkins, was actually the doctor that performed the hypnotic regression on them, and he was also visited by the Men in Black, and he was told that Barney Hill actually died, and he will suffer the same fate if he does not destroy the tapes and everything he had from the sessions that he did with Barney and Betty. That came from an article called The Experience and Tradition, Analogs with the Traditional Devil Hypothesis by Peter Ray Joyce. And so our last point, really, is about critical thinking and our perspective of space itself. Now, it's obvious to say that we don't know everything that has or will happen on Earth. So if you think right now to yourself, do I know all the secrets to the universe and Earth? The answer is no. It's just not possible. So we can't really say for sure if extraterrestrials do exist or they don't, but it's more likely that they do. A statistic is that it's 1 in 6 billion, we have a 1 in 6 billion% chance that we are the only intelligent life forms in the universe. So it's far more likely that somewhere out there, there are extraterrestrials. And Neil deGrasse Tyson actually had a fantastic quote for this on a CNN interview, and it says that he describes it as there's a circle of knowledge that we have, and then there's beyond the circle that is unknown. And since the universe is ever expanding, so is our knowledge, and therefore the circle, but so is the outside. So we can never truly know what is out there. But, as the statistic shows, it's more likely that there is something out there besides us. And so, in conclusion, I hope you can all kind of step back and think that we're not that proud of a person to just say, oh, we're the only living things out there in the universe. It's pretty obvious that there has to be something out there somewhere. So that's it.
All right. 8:05.